If you're using 2 pounds of clay and a Pringles can as your form, a quarter sheet of newspaper will be enough to wrap it. Wrap the can firmly and even with the bottom edge. Tuck the excess into the can. A canvas board with slats, rolling pin, ruler, pen tool, triangle are needed to roll your slab. A textured plate is optional. 2 pounds of clay should cover 3/4 of a Pringles can. Make sure the slats are the same distance apart as the amount of form you plan to cover with the clay. Have someone hold the other side of the board to keep it steady as you roll. When you first begin, you have to press the clay down firmly with the rolling pin. Keep the rolling pin on the slats so that the slab is uniform and no thinner than 1/4 inch. Flip the slab over occasionally so that you are rolling on both sides. Once the slab is rolled down to 1/4 inch thick, you will have to cut away excess pieces and fill in the gaps so that you end up with a slab that is rectangular. Piece the extra pieces into the negative space in between the slats and the clay slab. It's okay if these pieces of clay overlap. Make sure to fill in all gaps. Roll over the pieces that you fit into place. You could cut away the excess that lands on top of the slats and remove that. Flip the clay and repeat on the back of the slab. Remember to keep the slats securely in place, equal distance apart. You could also take your finger and smooth in the places where you have joined. Roll over the back side. Measure the slab by rolling it around the form. This will give you an idea of how much of the slab to remove. Use the triangle to have a square corner. Line it up at the top and the side, and cut away the excess that is not level. Turn the triangle around using one of the level surfaces as your guide. And cut away the remaining excess. All 4 sides should be level with square corners. Excess clay needs to be balled up and preserved for the base of the form. Adding texture is optional. If you choose to do so, make sure you powder the surface so that it does not stick to the slab. Lay the powdered surface directly onto the slab. Press the textured plate in firmly so that it does not shift when you roll it. Position the slats back in place. Roll over the plate firmly following all the way through from the beginning until the end. Remove the plate carefully, starting with the edge. Repeat the process with the other side of the slab. Flip the clay to the untextured side to roll around your form. Roll firmly to prevent gapping between the clay slab and the newspapered form, but be careful not to make indentations in the clay. Remove excess, unroll the slab, and cover it with plastic while you roll out the base. Pat out remaining clay and roll it into a 1/4 inch circular shape. Make sure the slab extends well beyond the diameter of the form. Smooth out any cracks or imperfections. Remember to always store clay that you are not using in plastic. If you need to store your slabs for the next day, spray them with water. And store them in plastic with no trapped air. To assemble the slabs, begin by firmly wrapping the wall slab around your form. Make sure the bottom is even with the open edge of the container. Then wrap firmly without leaving indentations in the slab. Next, carefully make a vertical incision through the overlap of the ends of the slab. Remove the excess clay. Score both of the slab edges. Apply slip to just one of the edges. Line the edges up evenly. Join firmly, but be careful not to leave indentations. Seal the edges until you see no negative space. Wipe away excess slip. Seal the seam with your finger. Then remove the ridge carefully with a rib tool. To remove the form from the vessel, first you will need to unwrap the newspaper. Grip the container and then carefully slide the container from the newspaper. Lastly, carefully crumble and remove the newspaper. Stand the form up, careful to maintain the circular form. Carefully place the vessel on the base slab. Make sure that the vessel is circular in form. Slice around the edge, careful only to cut the base slab and not the vessel. Remove the excess clay and then carefully remove the form from the base. Score around the edge of the base and the bottom of the vessel. Apply slip only to the base. Carefully join the vessel to the base, making sure to maintain this circular form. Remove excess slip on the interior and exterior with a sponge, and then smooth the seam with your fingers. Use a rib tool to remove ridges and provide a smooth seam for the base. To complete the soft slab vessel, use a clay tool to join and smooth the interior seam. Remember to buff out imperfections and clean your vessel with a dry clay sponge before allowing it to dry for bisque fire.